There you go. The joys of technology. Thank you. Okay. Now let me go to where my notes were. Okay, so any aha moments, ladies, you can put it in the chat and I'll look at it later. Any new awarenesses that have come up for you that you now realize that you need to shift or make some changes around? What over the last couple of days has really been coming through for you? So remember that these new awarenesses may be led not just from the awareness of the class, but also it could be your ego mind playing a little bit. So ego mind will want to, as you're realizing, Sherry, when you wake up in the morning, it's mind chatter, right? So the mind is racing and ego wants to pull you back into what we deem safe and comfort zone. So that doesn't mean it's a safe space. It just means that's what we're used to. So a lot of times when we're in that phase, we have this, it's almost like a testing period. So we deem something, right? So we deem we're going to lose 20 pounds. And so then, you know, like I gave you an example of yesterday, where there's days where you just didn't feel like going. Now, you can control your mind and you can start to say to yourself, we have to coach ourselves sometimes through these things, that no excuses, you know, what does it feeling like it have anything to do with it? It doesn't, you know, and just kind of realize that we are in control and that we have a choice. So today I woke up and I was feeling tired and it looked like it was going to rain. And honestly, if I didn't have an accountability partner on my walk today, I probably wouldn't have walked. Now I felt amazing afterwards, but it's human for us to go through these phases. Okay. So there, again, there's no judgment or criticism. So I don't want you beating yourself up when you're going through these situations and realizing that the mind chatter is getting louder. Now, this is actually a very good thing. I want you to pay attention to what the mind chatter is saying to you, because this is subconscious thoughts that are coming through on a conscious level. And so a lot of my clients will say, yeah, but I don't know what it's saying. Well, honestly, you will hear when we pay attention. So attention is everything. And we just want to make sure that we're paying attention. So what is the mind chatter saying to you? Is it saying, well, it's your fault that you're in the situation that you're in, that I can't believe you're in the situation you're in? It was me all along. Oh my God, I can't believe that I would want myself to be in this position. Why would I want myself to be in this position? Why the heck would I want to put myself through this? Like, this is the stuff that starts to rise, right? And so again, it's just about awareness, and just, you can do one of two things. You can start to really hone in and pay attention to what those thoughts are, which I recommend, because those are going to give you clues with what's really going on in the subconscious mind. And you can also just put your hand out and literally, you know, that phrase they used to say, there's the hand, you know, stop talking, or, you know, this is it, you're done. Close the door on that part of your mind. You can also soothe the ego. I see you, I acknowledge you, I understand, and I'm letting you go. Like, you're valuable, but this is not one of those times that you're valuable, right? So we can, but we want to work with our minds. And so when we have, if we go from believing that we're not going to get well and that we're always going to be in the same situation or circumstance, and ego mind may, when we're shifting and changing into identity of being healthy and being in a better position and state, then ego mind may come up and call bullshit on you because it doesn't believe that you can go from where you are right now to where you want to be, and it doesn't believe it can do it quickly. So we want to ease and soothe the mind. So I'm willing to believe it is possible for me to heal. I'm willing to have faith that everything's going to be okay. I'm willing to be in a better state. Maybe that feels better. It feels safer for the ego mind, as long as it's not kicking up mind chatter for you. And this is the important part, because the mind chatter is then going to pull you back into that comfort zone, your old identity, where you are in a phase and a state and possibly having thoughts that none of this is going to work for you, right? So this is how we work with the mind so that it's not taking us back into old identity. And this is definitely not an easy part. And I have been successful in some stages of this and then not successful in other stages of this. So, and just have compassion on yourself. When you catch yourself going into that negative downward spiral, just take a breath. You maybe want to put your hand on your heart and just feel the life force energy coming through your heart and know that everything's going to be okay. And you want to just keep soothing yourself and just allowing yourself to feel what it feels like to be in more of a neutral state. So if your anxiety is kicking up, there is a guided meditation that I did for some clients. I might do it tomorrow or Friday, but I'll definitely do it. And if I don't do it, I'll send you guys the recording, but it will really help you, because what can happen with anxiety is that the prefrontal cortex is dominant normally. And what can happen is the amygdala becomes more dominant, and that's when the anxiety kicks up and takes over, and the overthinking and the mind chatter and the catastrophizing goes in. So what I did with the guided meditation is I really worked to cut cords and to clean and clear and release a lot of that, allowing the amygdala to go back into its smaller state so that the prefrontal cortex is stepping up more. Okay, so again, if it's something that you want to do before I do it here, then let me know, but it's definitely very powerful. Okay, so just breathe through it as much as you can, shut it down, acknowledge it, and then just let it go, because it's there to help us at the end of the day. And although it's not helpful, that is its job and its role. Okay, but we've got to be aware of it so that we can catch it. There was a situation, and I cannot, life of me, gratefully probably remember why I was going through this, but I was going through a downward spiral, probably to do with my ex-husband. And I had things that were going on, and my ego mind didn't want me to do those things because I was stepping away from the old into the new. And I could literally see myself, my higher self, keep encouraging me. It was like Nemo's voice, keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. And ego mind's like, nope, come back. Nope, come back. And I could literally have that. I had that image. It was bizarre, but it's what happens when we become more consciously aware, and we become so aware of what the mind is doing that we could acknowledge it, see it for what it is, and then just keep moving forward. There were a couple times where my ex-husband locked me, literally changed the locks on my office and my clinic room, and locked me out of my my yard. And I had a master class on both weeks that he picked to do this. And I'm like, okay, so I have two choices. I can continue doing my thing just in a different room, or I could allow myself to curl up and be within myself and get really upset and allow it to affect me and change me and pull me back into the old me where I didn't have boundaries, I wasn't empowered, and I was in a state of heightened state of stress and nervous system overload and into the like PTSD kind of situation. And gratefully, because of all the healing that I've done over the years and all the mindset work I've done over the years, I was able to powerfully coach through and go through the master classes. And so sometimes I'm so convinced this tooth happened for two reasons. One, because it's in my energetic field that my birthday is always filled with some kind of drama because that's been my past experience. And also because of this program. I was so aware of that. And I'm like, oh man, because it has, and I knock on wood, gratefully, been a very long time since I've experienced any kind of pain or discomfort. And I was able to feel it and have more compassion for you guys coming into this program. But then it was more about the healing. Because that Friday, when I tapped into that healer's program, it was almost instant that I was feeling his energy, drawing out the discomfort and the pain. So we can tap into other people in a good way and allow healers like myself to actually take away some of your pain and discomfort without even touching you. That was the beauty of it all. Like my ear almost instantly started to ease off because it was getting up into the eardrum, the pain. And as soon as I noticed it, I was like, okay, I'm staying because obviously this is helping me, because I was gonna not do it because I was not feeling very well. I was tired and I was cranky in the whole 9 yards. But because I am aware of this energy and how powerful it is, I allowed myself to, gave myself really the gift of staying. And I honestly believe that's why I'm healed today. So it can happen for you. And I want you to know that and feel that with everything that's part of your being. It is going to take a minute. It's not going to be an overnight thing because we're human. And unfortunately, humans, we have the mind chatter and the ego, and we've got other people around us telling us that it can't happen for us. And who do we think we are? And all this kind of stuff, and societal norms and expectations, and then religious things and whatnot. So I say this with such conviction. I absolutely know you can heal. I absolutely know that everything's going to be okay. And I absolutely know without a doubt in my mind that you are the healer. You're just tapping into other people's energies temporarily and being reminded of who you really are inside. We have an inner physician that is capable of healing. I mean, basic things like cuts. Our skin heals, right? Breaking a bone, our leg heals. It's astounding when we think about it. A sprain, even bad sprains can heal, right? Hearts heal if you've got a broken heart, right? So it can happen for you. And it's just, again, remember what manifestation the equation is, right? Your desire to heal, or whatever your desire is, plus your belief. And we often take action depending on what that belief is. So now, because my belief is so ingrained in the healing, there wasn't a doubt in my mind. There was no wobble. There was no, oh my gosh, well, that's not possible. How is it? gonna happen, blah, 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 because I believe in this healing business so strongly, there wasn't a doubt in my mind that I was going to heal it. And it makes no sense, but we're not dealing with the earth plane when we're talking about these things. We're dealing with the 5D, with the magic and the miracles, and with the limitless possibilities that is part of who we are if we allow it to happen. Okay. And we've got to work with our minds in order for us to sometimes get out of that wobble. So that's why I really wanted you to tap into what the beliefs are that you're going through, and why we did those telepathic questions yesterday, because they're so important for us to see where we are on a subconscious level. Because the subconscious is a really interesting thing, because so there is subconscious mind makes up 95% of our brain, which is a good thing and a bad thing. So it's a good thing because it means that most of the things that we do throughout our day, we don't have to think about, because otherwise we'd be exhausted. And it's the bad thing because also all those negative beliefs that we've carried from childhood get locked in at the subconscious level. And that's what's running the show. So one of my coaches, how she was saying and explaining this is she was upset and disappointed with this thought, because she's thinking only 5% of my brain is working for me. And what then she realized and discovered and shared with us is that once we change the belief from that negative to the opposite, then all of a sudden, if we keep coming back to that, and it'll take concerted effort and consistency and more than 51% of your day, then all of a sudden that gets locked in as truth. So you've got more positive in your brain than you have the negative. So this is why people are more positive. Some people are more positive than negative, because they've either didn't have as many beliefs, or they've been able to reframe things in such a way where they actually start to see the truth and know. So the embodiment part, though, is when you feel it and know it in your body. Like, you hear my conviction when I tell you that you can heal. I know you can. And I know you can feel it within yourself that it is true. And so this is what we want to, this is our practice now, is to believe what we want and desire is ours. There's no doubt, there's no fear, there's no worry, there's no question. It is ours to have, it's ours to experience, and it's ours to go through. Okay? So we really want to tap into that. And we, again, also realizing that sometimes ego mind is going to kick up. Okay, it's about awareness. Now, what also can happen is we declare we're gonna lose 20 pounds, and the universal. I don't like the word testing, but I haven't figured out another word to, or way to explain it best. But then the universe is gonna maybe have a friend call up and ask if you want to go for dinner. And you can go for dinner. But what are you going to choose off that menu if you're trying to lose 20 pounds? Are you going to choose the salad or the healthier choice? Or are you going to choose that juicy burger that's just looking so good with those fries that you so desire? Right? So this is part of the journey. We have to step into who we want to be. So do you want to be healthy and 20 pounds lighter? Yes. Then that also means that sometimes we have to not sacrifice, make better choices, make better decisions that are, so the action have to back up the belief. right? So if you say you want to get better, what are you doing to help yourself get better? Whatever that looks like or feels like to you. Do you still have old habits, old behaviors, old ways of thinking that are keeping you in the loop where you've got this push-pull energy of, yeah, I want this, but yeah, I want this, but I'm not willing to go the extra mile. Yeah, I want this, but I'm not willing to whatever, right? So the clue is usually in the yeah, but, and the clue is also in the thing that you don't want to do. There might be things that you could do that you don't want to do that's going to help you get better. So what are those things? Those are, if you can become aware of those things, that's going to make a huge difference, and just do them. Honestly, it makes a huge difference, because now what you're doing is you're backing up your desire with the action, and the belief will follow. Because you're starting to act from a place of, yeah, I am going to get better. And if I do this, I'm going to get even more better, and maybe better faster. But if our action's not backing up the desire, then that's where the wobble comes in. Is this all making sense? So what we also want to do is we want to, when we're doing these changes, we want to acknowledge the small wins as well as the big wins. And we want to celebrate them all. Okay, so we do not want to negate anything. And it could be as simple as, today I woke up not feeling like life sucks. Some people are in that depressive state, or the anxiety, or whatever your struggle is, it's so overwhelming that you get those days. And it's a win if you then, even though it feels like it sucks and you don't want to get up out of bed, and you do. So that's your win for the day. I got up anyway. I went for my walk anyway, even though I didn't want to. Right? So, but we oftentimes, and this is human nature, and I believe it's something that we grew up with, was not acknowledging and embracing the things that are good in our lives. We're just we're told, it's kind of vanity, or it's, why are you celebrating this when it's, it's such a small thing? Well, why not? Honestly, so two things that are going to shift your life on a big scale is being in gratitude and appreciation. Now, 6 years ago, my ex-husband said some nasty things to me around my birthday. And I honestly, I kicked him out, and I honestly thought that we could get back together. And so, and I had held hope for a long time. And he just kept digging in, and he was hurt, so he was lashing out and hurting me even more. And it wasn't helping, because I was pretty much done anyway, and then he was just adding on to things. So, but the truth is that things work out for you, whether it looks like it's going to work out for you or not. We may not understand why we are where we are. We may not understand, we might be asking why and how and all the things. And the truth is that the divine has the answers, and they know what we need to go through in order for us to have the life that we actually desire. Okay, so I worked with a coach in the middle of it, and she helped me heal a lot of things that I was unconsciously aware of. She helped me know what personal power is, step into that, set boundaries, and stand in the truth of who I am. And my motto for a long time was nothing and no one has power over me. Your condition, illness, disease, mental, emotional, physical, has no power over you. Only if we allow it. Okay. So in hindsight, even though in the moment and during the first, I would say year, maybe year and a half of the marriage breaking up, it's not what I wanted. It's not what I thought was going to happen. But in hindsight, I now see if he didn't say and do what he said, when he said it, I'd probably still in the marriage, be in the marriage and unhappy and unhealthy and maybe even sick. Right? So things have a way of working out. We've got to trust, got to have a little bit more faith. And when we go through these things, again, if we're looking through the filter of everything's working out for me, then now what? Now what? Now what do you do? Now what do you say? Now how do you act? Now how do you behave? Now what? And that was a game changer for me. That was a mantra for me for a long time as well. Everything's working out. Everything's working out for me. So now what? So if we come from that lens, things will shift on a big scale very quickly. This is where the quantum healing comes in. Okay. So this is the tricky part. Are you worthy of receiving and allowing the healing and the goodness to come to you? So let me ask you some questions and you can just put 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chat if it actually is true for you. So do you feel you have to earn your healing? Put a 1 in the chat. Do you have to work for it? If it's a yes, put a 1 in the chat. Small things are big things. When someone opens the door for you, do you allow them graciously with a smile on your face and say thank you? Yes? You can just put yes or no. Do you receive compliments well? Or at all? Yes or no? If someone offers to buy you a coffee or lunch, what is your reaction? Oh, no, it's okay. No, I can afford it. Or no, let me take you out for lunch because I know you're going through blah, blah, blah. What is your response and reaction to someone trying to do something kind for you? Now, are you a good receiver of gifts, birthday or Christmas? Or do you say, you shouldn't have, or it's too much, or I don't understand, I didn't get you anything because I didn't know, and you feel uncomfortable, maybe guilty or embarrassed or whatever the feeling is around these things. Hopefully I can come back into this after the chat. Curious what your responses are. Lots of stuff, whether I truly believe I can heal. Good. Yes, sometimes you get nervous. Yeah. So what are you getting nervous around, Jess? Sorry to remind me. One's hard. Which one is hard? Sherry, receiving of gifts? Okay. Jess is saying she's learning to accept things. Not a great receiver of gifts. I prefer to give. It is hard. I'm getting better because I'm working on it. Good. Oh, because you're not working. Okay. Receiving gifts and compliments. Okay. So we have a closed fist. And the good Lord is giving us all the things that we want and desire, and using other people sometimes to give us what we're actually asking for. But because our fist is closed, it's coming away. It's not received. So we need to allow ourselves to receive. This is feminine energy. Receiving is feminine energy. We can give when we can, and we need to be able to receive. So the universal law is giving and receiving. It's a reciprocal situation. Now, we may give to one person, but that doesn't mean that that one person or yourself, if someone gives to you, should ever feel obligated to then turn around and give back to you. That's not why we do it. You can receive from other places, people, and circumstances. Okay? He sends angels to tend to us. Yes. And your neighbor could be an angel. Your friend could be the angel, your son, your daughter. Everybody is, we're being used. Something I put in my heart, and I reached out to somebody I haven't chatted with in a year, finding out that he's got pneumonia. And I send him love and light and healing, and he felt better the next day. But if I had ignored that inspiration, that nudge to reach out to him, he might still be unwell. Right? And just like I shared with you yesterday or Monday, when I had this nudge where it was so strong for me to put that post out there about sending healing love and light to anybody who needs it, because I just felt this big dire dread, and I didn't understand it. But this is the thing, we are being used. We are all instruments for other people. And I believe that I go first, and then I help others go through what I've gone through and understand and learn. I've had that since I was a child. So I have no doubt about that. And we need to be willing to receive. So I really want you to sit with yourself tonight and ask yourself, why are you not willing to receive? What does it mean if you receive? Like, what are the feelings around it? Does it feel like you're taking advantage? Does it feel like you're not worthy of it? Does it feel like you're not deserving of it? Does it feel like if they give to you, do you feel like you are obligated to give back to them? And that's the resistance? And maybe you can't afford it, or maybe you don't want to. So receive with the intention. Now, my youngest daughter is the best receiver and the best giver. She gives from her heart, and she will repackage something that we have in the house because she is so desperate when she was younger and couldn't afford to give a gift. She would take it, she would wrap it, maybe she would change it up a little bit if she could, and then she would give it with all the love in her heart. And when she received, she was ecstatic. She was just bumping, she one of these people that you love to give gifts to because they're so excited and they make you feel so good. Think about that. When someone gives you a compliment or a gift and you're reticent and you're holding back, not allowing yourself to fully receive, how does the other person feel when you're not over the moon with acceptance and with gratitude over what you're being given? No guilt or shame. This is again just awareness, right? So how would you feel if you are on the receiving end of that? You're so excited, you went out, maybe you made something special for your friend, and your friend, you gave it to the gift to your friend, and you're so excited, you want to see her expression on her face, and she opens it and she's got this, oh, thanks, kind of sense of feeling, those people. How does that make you feel? Right? So we want to put ourselves a little bit in other people's shoes when it comes to that. But the reason why this is so important is this is going to give you a clue with why you're not receiving fully your health. Because we're not in the receiving mode. We've got our fist tight. And we've got to be willing to trust God, universe, source, your higher power, that there is something out there for you, whether we know it or not. Faith is not about seeing it and then believing it. Faith is about believing and then seeing it. That's hard. And we've got to be in trust. So I have a few more telepathic questions for you. Okay, so on the scale of 1 to 10, again, I'm going to send you this question, 1 being no and 10 being yes. Sending it to you now. And put it in the chat. Okay, ready for question number 2? Sending it to you now.
I didn't see question number 1.
I will give it to you after we do it.
Okay.
After we do all 3. Okay, so sending number 2 to you now. Sorry, this is a yes or no question. So whatever you hear, sense, feel, or just know, write down the first response, yes or no. And the third question. Sent. And this is a yes or no question again. Okay, so the first question was, do you believe you will heal? So Sherry said 3. So there's subconscious thoughts that are not believing you'll heal, Sherry. Yeah, The questions aren't gonna come up. I'll put them. I'm telling you what they are now, Marilyn. So Jess, number one was a 1 to 10. It's okay. Okay, so the second question was, do you believe you have to do something in order to heal? And two was yes. Sherry and Jess. Okay, so it's coming from you. It's not coming from God. And third question, sorry, I lost my spot. Give me a minute. So the third question was, do you believe that the healing is coming from you? And the third was yes. No. Okay, good. So if you are seeing where we're needing some work, okay? So it's important for us to understand that, and so we're part of the equation, but we are not the full equation. This is where the faith and the trust comes in. Okay. So the Bible's verse is ask and you shall receive. And if you watch any Abraham and Hicks, they talk about this all the time. Our job is to ask. God knows what we want and what we desire. We've said it enough times out loud. We've said it enough times in our head. God knows. And God knows that our inner being, our source energy inside of us, the higher self, has everything organized, already aligned with it, waiting for our human self to align to the truth of it. And to be able to really tap into the virtual escrow that's waiting for us. So Abraham and Hicks says we have enough in our virtual escrow. She calls it the vortex for 20 and 30 lifetimes. Money, wealth, health, success, all of it, waiting for us to be willing to allow and receive it. So this is where we've got the beliefs really come into play. So my youngest daughter, Vanessa, when she was 16, we were outside on the balcony. They had just come back from tennis, and I think this was sometime after our separation, and my ex was in this foul mood and he was taking it out on the girls. And so they were really upset and they called their grandmother, his mother, to complain about him. And she gave him some cuss words. It was really funny. So I'm out on the balcony. They come and join me because they don't want to be near him at all. And so we're sitting there and I allowed them to rail against him for a while. And then I'm like, your dad's going through a tough time. It is what it is. But what are you going to do about it? Like, you're going to allow him to get to you like this. So we started daydreaming and talking about, different things that we want and desire and stuff like that. And my youngest said for her 17th birthday, she wants to go on a cruise. I'm thinking, what 17-year-old ever thinks that they're going to go on a cruise? Like, this is just ludicrous, right? But I thought, okay, whatever, right? I'm into the daydreaming and the possibilities and how it was going to happen. We hadn't got a clue. And Alyssa said something, I can't remember what she was saying. And so she said it and forget it, right? So we're sitting, just, and she was going into detail, right? Like where she wanted to go, what she wanted to do, and all this kind of stuff. So later that December, I get this phone call from our bank that they're looking for Elton. Elton's not in the mood to talk to anybody at this point. And so I'm saying to the bank, he's not interested. Whatever you want, unless it's something to do with our bank accounts that we need to deal with, he's not interested. He's like, no, but he's going to really want this. And he said, there's a prize that you've won, and, can you come and claim it? Because I was joined on the account. So I go down, I have no idea what he's talking about. I didn't even know there was a contest. This is how unattached I was to the whole thing, right? And we won a cruise to anywhere in the Caribbean. And so I was like, damn, I'm going. And I offered it to my oldest daughter because my ex was saying, oh, I'd never go with you. Why would I go with you? And blah, 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 blah. Like we were in that phase, right? And so Alyssa said, well, Mom, it's Vanessa's birthday, because I was going to go around my birthday, which is in February, and so is Vanessa's, my youngest daughter. And she said, Vanessa really wanted to go for her 17th birthday, so I will concede and I will let her go in my place. I'm thinking, wow, like how amazing is that, right? Like, and Vanessa and I were at the phase where we were starting not to get along very well. And so I approached Elton and I said, Elton, listen, I think it would be a good idea. And I'm also in my head, I'm thinking maybe we can reconcile during this trip, right? And clearly he didn't have that thought at all. And so he was like, well, no, I'd never go with you. And why would I go with you? And just making it a bad thing. And I said, well, I'm going. I've asked Alyssa, and Alyssa's declined and allowed Vanessa to go in her place. Now, Vanessa is his favorite. I mean, that's the truth. And so, and he knows that we have an oil and vinegar kind of relationship. And it was getting worse because of what was going on with us. And so he's like, Vanessa, no way. She wouldn't be willing to go. That's not possible. Blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, you can ask her, but she said yes. So she got to, for her 17th birthday, spend the week for her birthday in the Caribbean. And it was just such a stark example of how when we put things out there and we don't interfere, we're in trust, we're in faith, and or disconnection. Like we almost have to, I wouldn't say disassociate from it, but there's just this, if it happens kind of mentality and attitude, and it doesn't have to happen the way we want it to, because Vanessa would never have dreamt this part up. I certainly wouldn't have dreamt this part up. And I wasn't in a financial position where I could have paid for one. So there's no way it would have happened that way. So it's just kind of amazing how everything lined up for us. And she got what she wanted. But this can happen for you too when it comes to your health. Now, the tricky part is, especially like I mentioned the other day, if it's chronic, it gets trickier because our mind and our emotions are involved. And it's one of those things where we are told we have to face reality. To be realistic, the naysayers say it won't happen, it can't happen for you, blah, 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 right? I'm sure you've heard it all. And I'm sure in some parts of you, you've also believed it. Subconsciously, if not consciously, right? Because recovering from certain conditions, illnesses, and diseases is less likely. So I was working with a client and she was going through her fourth or fifth bout of cancer at this point, and we were able to get her so solid in her belief that she could heal that she had gone through 2 scans without any issues. And then on the third scan, she felt like something was wrong. And so she contacted me and we worked together for a little bit more, and she couldn't find the results of the scan. And it was taking a month. And at this point, usually it's like 2 weeks before. And because she's a physician, she's able to actually go into her notes and see, but there was nothing showing up on the charts. And so, you know, she was a little worried because she's thinking, oh no, what's going to happen? What's going on? So they finally find the scan. And the scan shows 11 lesions in her lungs and her abdomen. 11. And I'm saying to her, this is a good thing that you didn't see what the results were, because this, and for me too, because as the healer, it would have been hard for me as a human to think that this could not be truth. It's not the illusion. But she was so convinced, and I was so convinced that she was 100%. So they wanted to do a lung biopsy, which is extremely painful. And she was so resistant. And I said to her, you don't have to do it. It was like a light bulb moment, because being a physician, you want to be a good patient, right? And the doctor suggests, so therefore you must do. So I said, well, why don't you ask for another scan? Because you and I are so convicted in our belief that you are well, that it doesn't make any sense. She does another scan, comes back clean, 100% clean. And that is when it solidified for me how much the mind can play into these things, and that we've got to tap out of the realism a little bit. So I know whatever your situation looks bleak right now, and it can shift. And how does it shift? We need to shift our focus away from all the things that are going wrong. We need to focus on all the things that are going right. So instead of the negative downward spiral, we want to go into the upward positive spiral. So I'll give you another example. I had a client who also, she had cancer, but it was one of these cancers where if you're going to get it, it's not a bad thing. She went through some of her procedures and things that she had to go through. And I followed up with her after a couple sessions to find out how she's doing. And she's like, oh, well, I'm in the hospital. My heart is racing, my blood pressure's through the roof, her feet are swollen, and the doctors were really concerned, and she didn't know what was going on. So I guided her to put her hand on her heart and to breathe in love and light and just allow herself to calm down. A couple of days later, I followed up with her, and she told me after the fact, and I was so grateful, that she had congestive heart failure. And that was what was going on. And I would not have given her that advice or recommendation for that kind of big thing. But she was telling me that after she did what I suggested, she actually went out of congestive heart failure. All her symptoms were gone. Right? So I didn't have to. This is the one where in my position, I didn't want to see it, to believe it. I believed it, and then we saw it. But if she had told me she was in congestive heart failure, I know for a fact that as a human being, I probably would have said to her, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'll pray for you, sending you healing love and light, but I wouldn't have suggested such a simple thing as putting love and light into her heart and asking her body what she needs. So this is what we can do. And these things seem simplistic. They seem easy. They seem like they wouldn't work. They seem like it doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't have to make sense if it helps. That's the truth. And this is where faith and trust and belief come in strong. My mantra this year, past 2024, is have faith, trust, and belief. And I know without a doubt that things are going to work out for me in my life. Whatever that looks like. I'm not attached to the outcome. I'm not attached to the journey that I need to go through in order to get where I want to go. But I am not focused also on what I desire. Good Lord knows what I want. The good Lord knows how to get me there with the least resistance from me. And this is where my faith and trust is that I will be guided and I will follow the nudges and I will do what I need to do in order to get where I want to go. I'll do my part and align to that and believe that in full faith and full trust. So where are you on the scale of your faith and trust? Is it a little wobbly, or do you believe? That is definitely a homework question. Okay. So having said all that, we're going to end with taking out some of this negative emotional stuff that we've got going on inside of us. So I'm going to get you nice and comfy. Yes, definitely need to believe so much. So many blessings happen to me. Sometimes scared they will stop happening. Oh, why do you think you're scared that they're going to stop happening, Jess? Because you run out of good things? Okay, so then the next question is, do you believe that the universe is limitless? So many miracles. Why can't you have one more? You're just going through what you're going through because you haven't got it yet. We go through what we go through because we haven't learned the lesson yet. We haven't found the harmony yet. We haven't found, maybe the trust is there, but the trust is not within ourselves. Maybe the trust is in this ethereal God construct that the religion has made up. God is within us. The power is within us. The inner physician with a capital I and a capital P is within us. It comes from us. And if you believe that, then everything will shift for you on a big scale. Yes, universe is limitless. Possibilities are limitless. Yeah. Yeah, now that the tests are coming, all patients get scared. And it's understandable. So allow yourself the fear, right? When the tests are coming or the tests, you're going through the test and you're not sure about what the results are going to be, allow yourself to feel fear. And you don't want to stay in it. Feel it and let it go. It comes to and through you. And then replace it with faith. If I'm in full faith, now what? If I'm in full faith, what should I be thinking? What should I be feeling? What should I be doing? Who am I being in full faith and full trust that the universe has my back? That my inner being, my higher self, my inner physician is going to help me get where I want to be, which is healed. Yes, you did it 5 times before, you can do it now. Faith, I have faith. Yes, ma'am. He is the physician, and the physician is within us. Right? This is the distinction. So a lot of times, and I did this for a long time, religion teaches us that God is outside of us. And it's a different entity. And we don't have any we don't really have a deep connection with God, or there's just this disconnection. I don't know how to describe it. And so what I've come to understand is God is within us. And this is why the healing comes from within us. This is why our mindset is so important, as well as what we do in our bodies. And this is that, and it can be tricky because, again, societal norms, religious norms, family norms are going to tell you all different. And it doesn't matter what they believe, it's what you believe that counts. Right? So maybe not talk about it with certain people that are going to say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. It's okay. I know what I know. And that's all that matters. Okay. So let's get nice and comfy. Now, this is an energetic kind of guided meditation experience. And I want to help you take out all the negative feelings, thoughts, stories, beliefs, and identity, which we're going to talk about tomorrow, out of your physical, energetic, and cellular bodies. So I'm going to set the intention that God in his wisdom and divinity through me, for you, and through you, for you, will help you know what you need to take out and remove so it no longer has power and control over you. Taking some nice deep belly breaths. Now I'm going to get you to put sticky notes all over your body. And on these sticky notes are all the feelings that you feel. And you are allowed to feel like, I fucking hate this, if this is what you feel. Whatever comes through for you, allow yourself to be honest, to be real, and to feel the feelings: resentment, hate, bitterness, anger, frustration, aggravation, all of the negative downward spiral feelings, any of the thoughts waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm better now, but maybe I'll not get better later, or it'll come back, or I tried before and it worked, but then it's going to come back again. The feelings of, it's out of my control. I don't have power over this. Any resentment towards past relationships or people or places or circumstances that maybe you're blaming on some level because it's what you're used to doing, or they've created something within you that caused you to feel these negative feelings. And now with these new awarenesses, you're realizing that you've allowed, and maybe there's some guilt and shame around that. Maybe any old beliefs that you deserve to be struggling, you deserve to be unhealthy and unwell, you are not worthy of being happy and healthy and thriving. You're not worthy of actually healing. If it doesn't resonate for you, it doesn't matter. Just keep putting your list on your sticky notes. This is what's coming through from you. Maybe you believe it's your fault, that you've done something wrong, that you haven't fine-tuned things. That you allowed yourself to get to this place again, and the anger and the bitterness toward yourself, toward your body, any body parts that you're rejecting because it's let you down. It hasn't done what it's supposed to do. Any questions like why? Why me? Feelings of woe's me? Any complaining that you've done? Put it all on these sticky notes. Whatever you're hearing, feeling, sensing, or just knowing. Or maybe it's, I'm tired and I don't want to have to go through this again. I'm tired and I don't want to get better and then be disappointed again. I'm tired and I don't know if it's worth the effort and the energy and doing the work to get well, because life has shown you that it's just coming back. Those deep-seated feelings that you have resisted allowing to come to the surface, allow them to come to the surface, allow them to have a voice. Any attachment that you have now to the condition or the disease, so it's part of your story, that you are, quote unquote, a cancer survivor, quote unquote, an anxiety survivor, that you are, quote unquote, fibromyalgia survivor, stroke survivor, whatever words that you put in front of the survivor bit. It's not who you are. It's what you're going through right now, and that's it. It just is. But any feelings and emotions around those phrases that you feel. Maybe you feel anxiety and overwhelmed and stressed out because of it. And maybe there's future catastrophizing, that you won't see your children grow up or your grandchildren or be a part of their lives, that you're letting the family down. And that's coming through very strong. You feel like a burden and that you're weak. That one's deep. I want to cry with you. Allow yourself to cry if you need to. You can turn your cameras off. Hmm. But your faith, maybe there's some guilt and fear around the fact that your faith is not strong or it's weakened. Maybe there's some blame towards God, source, universe, your higher power. That it's not something you asked for, not something you wanted. So why is it happening to you? Any victimhood mentality that's still lingering. Again, any anger towards or bitterness or resentment, pissed offness towards any body parts that aren't working or functioning as well as you would like. Maybe some of your doctors, nurses. Maybe you resent the medication you're on. Any of the symptoms that come with the medication. Keep putting it all on these sticky notes. There's no wrong answer. It's just between you and you. No one's going to judge you. No one's going to criticize you for feeling what you feel. Own it. Allow it to come to the surface. This is how we're going to release it. Now I'm going to get you to see this vortex, whirlwind, tornado-like energy encompassing your entire body from the head down the body, down into the legs and below the feet. And it's pulling all these emotions, stories, thoughts, feelings, beliefs, any identity connected to what we've just gone through off these sticky notes. Pulling it out of the cellular level, the generational level, the energetic level, and the auric and karmic levels, pulling it all out. Ooh, maybe you feel you deserve it because something you did in your childhood or towards someone else, or maybe even in a past life that you might be aware of, that you deserve to suffer. Pulling that out. Pulling out any religious connotation, societal norms or expectations, any generational norms or expectations. Pulling it all out. Putting it into this vortex of energy, whirlwind. And allowing them to just fall to the ground. Going down, down, down into Mother Earth for transmutation and change. Turning the darkness into light and love. And through the crown is this beautiful white love light energy coming from God, source, universe, or higher power. And it's going to come down through the crown, into the head, into the mind, into the eyes, the ears, the nose, the mouth, the jaw, and the neck. Filling up any gaps and spaces that were left behind at the cellular, energetic, and karmic, work, generational, societal, religious beliefs, coming down into the arms and the neck and the shoulders, to the fingertips, into the heart and around the heart. Filling all the gaps and spaces left behind from these sticky notes that were pulled out of your body. Coming down into the torso, around the organs, tendons, ligaments, nerves, muscles, bones, blood, lymph, arteries, and veins. Coming down into the pelvis, cleaning and clearing all your chakras, down the legs, to the tips of your toes, around your auric field. And then seeing roots, getting it nice and grounded from your feet and your seat, going down, down, down into Mother Earth, wrapping around a beautiful large crystal choice or the center crust of the earth. Next inhale, bring up some of this earth energy just to keep you grounded. Be solid. Because although we manifest in the 5D, we have to be in the 3D to receive the manifestation. And when you're ready, bring your awareness back to your body. Over your toes, your fingers, maybe stretch. How did that feel? You can put it in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, you're welcome to share.
I have a question.
Yes.
It goes back to one of the questions, the subconscious questions that you were asking. And one of them was, do I believe I have to do anything to heal? And I've done a lot since I was diagnosed in April. I mean, we've gone like organic cleaning, and I've always eaten well, but we only buy like organic food now. And, I'm kind of like doing these things. Am I not supposed to be doing those things? I mean,
Yeah, so so this is the action piece, right? So yes, you're gonna take better actions. But do you feel like the healing is coming from you? Or that you can't, or do you have to, can you just be and receive the healing? Or do you feel like you have to do something?
yeah, I get what you mean, because I'm usually like, okay, I got to do my energy, eat in daily exercise, energetic routine, check.
Mhm.
It's, yeah,
Got the
it's like,
list.
it's the checklist instead of the believing. Okay,
Trust
thank you.
list. So make it a trust list,
Okay,
right? I trust that if I do this, because the intention is different.
right, exactly.
So if you're coming from, I've got to do this and I've got to do that and I've got to do this, and if I don't do that, then you're not going to get better.
Right.
But if you come from, I trust
Oh, I like that.
that I'm actually doing this for my betterment,
Okay.
then that's a different energy, right?
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tina, I
Yes.
just want to say that it's always great to hear you reminding us about trusting.
Mm,
Sherry, Sherry and Marilyn, I am the one with the lesions, and they were not 11, they were 20.
oh, 20. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And it's incredible because I also believe that they were not there, and it was just before Corona, and
Mhm,
they wanted to do surgery, and I was like, no, you and me were like, I don't have anything. And it was incredible the day before the operation to read a new scan that says there's nothing. So I was like, why am I gonna have surgery?
mhm,
As I said, so many things happen. I have another big lump here, and I just decided to wear a, a, a
Turtleneck.
cloth that will cover. And after going for the surgery, there was nothing. No, I have breast cancer for 13 years now, and it's coming and going, and it's tiresome. That's one of the sticky notes
Mhm,
for the body. The treatment is accumulative,
mhm,
medical speaking, but sometimes we get tired physically and mentally. But
mhm,
that's the thing. People question why I'm still here, because I have stage 4 since 2014, and I'm
mhm,
still able to work a bit. Sometimes I don't work, sometimes, but I'm here. But it's true, when we don't get, there are moments we are humans, and we stop believing and trusting. We will
mhm.
be okay, we will be okay. And now that the tests are coming, I'm human, and being a doctor is even worse, and knowing what can happen. But I think I'm only living more than surviving, because I believe that the Lord is there. I believe so much in God, and I just need to let me go. When I don't do that, things start happening again, like a lift in autumn, and
Mhm.
don't have resistance. So I thank you, Tina, for so many things. Only you know.
Yes, yes. Thanks for sharing that, Jess. Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes being doctors, because we know more than what the average person will know, and we can't unknow what we know. And so the trust is even deeper and stronger in the belief of God and your inner physician, and that it will be taken care of. And um, it doesn't have to take us out of the game. It doesn't have to mean anything. Your story can be completely different from what is quote unquote normal. Right? Like Sherry, you said that you're kind of surprised. Well, maybe what's gone on through the last couple of years, because you've been struggling with health issues for a while, maybe this has allowed you to have this easier ride with this experience, because you have some of this mindset work already that you've done, and you've done a lot of the personal development work, you've done a lot of the healing already. So it's on the other side now. And ladies, I really want you to sit with yourself tonight, and list out all the things that are going right in your body, especially, and your life. And just go to town, free write. It could be 10, it could be 100, as many as you want. The more, the better. But then look at that list afterwards and really see how much is going well for you. Our bodies are amazing things. And some parts aren't working very well right now. And again, this is an opportunity for us to learn something, to heal something, to get better at something. And it's also our chance to then, on the other side of it, once we have healed, come out better and stronger than ever before. Okay? I say that with all sincerity and inner knowing. It's meant for you. So do this tonight. If you want to put it in the group for your homework for accountability, you're welcome to take its picture, put it in the group. And if there's anything that comes up for you, any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to ask in the group, because that's the holding place for that. And then we can have these kind of conversations going forward where we're really diving deep and getting into it. Tomorrow, if nothing else channels through me, it's going to be about identity. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Many blessings, ladies. Have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for showing up for you. Sherry, I'll get you just to stop the recording. The more button. I think I can.
I don't see it. Oh, wait, there's the record button. Okay.
Got it?
Request host to start. I don't know how to unrecord.
You just click on it. There should be a pause.
Okay.
Okay. And then I'll end the meeting, and that should be able to do what it needs to do to render it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.